Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. I have been MIA for the past couple of months, mainly because I just decided to take a time off from social media. I haven't been really active as much as I hope I would, but here I am. Since we have moved a couple of months ago, I have concised my makeup products into this huge makeup bag right here. I do switch products from time to time, but it's not very often because I am always on the go. I start work at about 8 and then finish late, so then sometimes when I get home I just want to use what's readily available, the ones that I know that will last me throughout the day. There's going to be a lot of different options in here because I like to keep my options open, especially for concealers, for bronzers and for foundation, because those are the main ones that I really use from time to time. As much as I would like to use eyeshadows, I typically skip them. I tend to use just maybe 1 or 2 eyeshadows instead of a whole palette, which I used to. To start off, here is what my makeup bag looks like. Now it is broken into 4 compartments. On this side right here is a big compartment, and then I have 3 smaller ones. So for foundation, I actually have a few here. I have 3 that I have been switching at the moment. So I have the Juice Beauty Phyto Pigment foundation. So this is a serum foundation. It's very lightweight. I had to customize my shade. I had to add a little bit of food coloring and a little bit of a darker concealer because the color is a little bit too pink and too ashy on my skin tone, but this one matches me perfectly now. So I have the shade Golden Tan. Another full coverage one is this Hourglass Vanish Seamless foundation. Now the undertone of this foundation is a little bit off, so again I added a little bit of food coloring in yellow just to balance it out, and it's still a little bit darker than me, but what I like to do is to actually mix this with a concealer that I'm going to show you soon, and it creates my perfect shade. So that's for a more fuller coverage if I know that I'm going to have a very long day. For a more on the go, like shopping, running errand type thing, I use this Missha BB cream. Yes, this is my second purchase. I finished the previous one, but the previous one is the wrong shade, so then I repurchased one in golden beige. It's still a little bit ashy, but I try to make it work. I just mix in a little bit of a yellow tone concealer and I'm good to go. I like this because it has an SPF 42. It's very lightweight and this lasts for a very long time. Honestly, it lasted me for about 10 hours of wear without even touch up, and I really like this BB cream. For primer, I have been using this YSL Touche Eclat primer, and this is the one with the gold flakes. I know they came out with the one with the silver flakes, but this is the original one. I don't use a lot of this because I find that whenever I put a lot of moisturizer, that could act as my primer, but for days where I'm lazy and I just want a quick fix, I like to go with this one. It doesn't really make my makeup last throughout the day. I just like the fact that it smooths and evens the texture on my face. I use this as a primer. So this is the Cooler SPF 30 Organic Sunscreen, and this is a tinted sunscreen in the shade Golden. I use this as a primer whenever I just want like a really quick fix. So typically I would mix this and this together, because this one's very lightweight, it's almost sheer, and this one here is full coverage, so mixing them together makes sense and it adds SPF. Or at times where I just want to get out of the house without makeup, I just use this and it gives me a nice satin finish. For concealer, I have 3 that I use. So the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, because it is such a, oh, you can't really see it, because this is such a yellow tone concealer, this is my mixing medium when I have a foundation that is a little bit darker, so it neutralizes it and brings it back to the tone of my skin, which is perfect. This one is in the shade medium neutral, and you could buy this from Kmart if you live in New Zealand and Australia. A very lightweight concealer is the YSL Touche Eclat concealer. Now technically this is more of a brightener than a concealer. Again, I like to use this when I know that my foundation oxidized a little bit, so I would add a little bit of this underneath the eye, on the chin area and forehead, just to balance the color of my foundation. For a more fuller coverage, I use the Hourglass Vanish concealer, and this one is in the shade Beach. So those are the concealers that I use on the days. Depending on what I go for, I would swap them around. Another one that I have is this one right here from Juice Beauty. So this is a pot concealer. I don't use pot concealer during winter time because it can be a little bit drying, but for summertime I like it because the weather helps kind of melt the concealer, and this one here has got more of a neutral undertones. For contour or bronzer, cream bronzer, I have been really into cream bronzer lately. I have two products that I switch depending on what I want to use. So this one here is the Fenty Matchsticks in the shade Truffle. I have been using this on the daily, and look, I still have a lot of product. I honestly just use a few swipes and it covers my entire face, and it's very pigmented. It lasts throughout the day. It's very blendable, which I like. The tone is a little bit dark, but I like to use just a teeny tiny bit of it. Also, it helps when my foundation is lighter. It brings it back, or it balances the lightness of the foundation. For cream contour slash bronzer, I use this Vanessa Myrex waterproof cream palette. This one here is in Essential Palette, which is more of that gray, brown, red toned type of shade. I really like this palette. It's very versatile. I find that you could layer this underneath or on top of powder and it works great. And I do apologize, by the way, our flatmate is currently mowing the lawn, so that's why you hear a lot of that. But yes, so that's what I use for contouring. For powder, I'm still trying to use this up. So this is the Bare Minerals Ready SPF Touch-Up Veil Powder. Now this is in the old packaging. I know that they've changed their packaging into the circle one, but I'm almost out of it. As you can see, it's down to the rim. I might actually just bin it. The only reason why I don't, because I really like the mirror. So I mainly use this compact for the mirror because it's big enough, but it's not too big where it overtakes my peripheral vision. But yeah, so this is a good, very good powder, and it has an SPF of 15. For loose powder, I try to mix it up a little bit, but I'm still using the Eyeshadow Final Powder from Philippines. Honestly, this one is really good. I was almost out of this, so then I decided to mix in a little bit of the RCMA No Color Powder in this because I like the compartment. It has like a depth from the rim to the hole, so then it is good for keeping enough powder for me to use, and so it doesn't spill everywhere. That's why I really like this. But yeah, so majority of the content of this jar is the RCMA No Color Powder. Another loose powder is this Fenty Beauty Banana Powder. I like this for days where I really want to have that super matte center of the face and then glowy on the outside. It keeps me matte all throughout the day. The only thing I don't use this for is for under eye, because it can tend to make my under eye very heavy and cakey, but for the rest of the face it's good. Also, the shade neutralizes my foundation color, which is a plus for me. Moving on to another powder. This one here is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. I'm still using the same one. I have stopped using this mainly because I've been really oily, so majority of the products that I use are more glowy, so I don't need this. But for days where I use a very mattifying concealer and I find that it starts to look very heavy and cakey, I would apply a veil of this on top of it, and it will make my under eye look very smooth and very healthy again. For highlighter, I only have one. So this is the MAC Max highlighter, and this is the Skin Halo Diamond Dust in solid gold. It's a nice peachy gold highlighter. I don't wear it as much because, again, I have been using a lot more glowier base, so I don't typically use highlighter, but if I do, I use it either on the eyes or just high points of my face. For bronzer, I have two selections. We have the Fenty Beauty bronzer in Beige and Gal, which looks like this. I don't use this a lot because I find that it's very orange on my skin, but if I do wear a lighter foundation, then that's where it comes handy. And the other one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills powder bronzer in Saddle. I like this bronzer. I've been using this every day, but for some reason I cannot hit pan. That's how much packed and a lot of product is in this bronzer, surprisingly, which is very good because this is pricey. So those are the bronzer. As for the cream blush, I have a few. So we'll start with the Kosas Color and Light Cream, and this one is the Tropical Equinox. As you can see, I've dug into this bad boy, and I have been using this for a lot. Sometimes I would even use this for the eyes. I love this because you could layer this on top or put it underneath the foundation. It gives like a nice sheen glow without making you look very, very oily. I'm actually wearing it right now, which is the glow that you see. Another favorite would have to be this Paris Color Pot in the shade Hello. This is more of like a red orange type of blush. So I use this blush whenever I want to do the reverse contouring, where I do contour underneath the foundation and then blush and then top it off, so then it gives me a nice natural flush on the skin. It's not too intense. Very, very tiny of this is good enough to be able to cover your entire face, because this is very, very pigmented. So, and also I find that it kind of stains throughout the day, which makes it good when it comes to a long wearing / longevity type of makeup that you're after. So another blush is this Maybelline matte blush, and this is in the shade Flirty Pink. So this is like a more of a dusty pink, which I typically like for everyday. I love the formula of this. It kind of reminds me of the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow, where it's plushy and cushiony, but it's very blendable and it's matte. Mascara, surprise surprise, Essence mascara. I've got the waterproof and the normal version. So this is the Lash Princess. I've repurchased this over and over again. Eyebrow pencil is the Hourglass Arch brow pencil. I'm almost out of this because I have been loving the soft brows. I find that I don't use a lot of brow pencil anymore. Instead, I would just use a brow gel over it, and it shapes my brows as well, fill it in. But for days where I have a lot of sparse areas of the brows, I would go with this. This is almost out. I probably could use this 4 times and it's good to go, which is good for me because I have owned this brow pencil for so long. For brow gel, I go back and forth between Wet n Wild brow mascara and the e.l.f. Wow Brow. If I were to choose, I probably prefer the e.l.f. over the Wet n Wild, but I happen to have both of them, so I tend to just switch it up. Moving on to, oh, I forgot, I have another cream blush. This is the Ilia color Haze multi matte pigment. So you can either use this on your eyes, on your lips, on your face. I like to use this as a blush. It gives me a nice dusty rose flush, especially for my skin tone, because I have more of a medium skin tone, so it makes it look like I'm sun-kissed. What else do I have? Eye primer, Max eye primer. You know, it does the job. For eye pencil, I always use the Essence eye pencil. 1, because they're very affordable. 2, they're very pigmented, and 3, they last all day. So $2 for a good eye pencil is really good. Moving on to the eyeshadow palette. Again, as I said before, I tend to switch my eyeshadow, but for this particular month or so, I have been using this Max Desert Queen eyeshadow palette. So this is the first one that they've come out with. I don't think this is available anymore, but I do love the fact that you could use this for a blush. I have been using this for a blush. You could use this as an highlighter. I have been using that as an highlighter. This one here, you could even use it to set underneath the eyes if you want more of a brightened look. And there's so many things that you could do with this eyeshadow palette, which I like, and the mirror is huge. For eye product, I have 2. So for days where I'm very, very lazy, just bronzer and a bit of something, I have been loving the Kosas Teen Second eyeshadow, and this one is in the shade Globe. I'm honestly halfway through the tube and I might repurchase this again because it's easy. I'm actually wearing it today with a mixture of Element, which is from Kosas as well. And for sparkly days, I use this Hourglass Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow in Ray. I love this. It's a bronzy sparkle, which is nice to have, and it gives you more of like a wet eye look. And for the lips, honestly, I wear lip balm. If I don't wear lip balm, I just wear lip pencil. So I have one from Essence in the nude, one from Jordana, which I have been loving and using. This is Mahogany, and one from Marc Jacobs, which is the nudist. And then just a lip gloss. So this happened to be on my makeup bag, which is the Kosas Wet Lip Oil. Sometimes I would just use the Lucas Purple ointment, which is a hydrating lip balm, or just a clear gloss. I have not been wearing a lot of lipsticks recently because my lips is typically dry during winter. That's pretty much everything on this bag right here. As you can see, it's pretty empty. I will update you again if I decided to change up what's inside my makeup bag, and I might do a get ready with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.